Welcome back to Stone Death. I'm Trevor, and during this video, I'm going to be reviewing the album Pure Agony by Agonal Breathing. Okay, so before I get started, I like Pure Agony. A lot. You could say I'm the kind of guy who would own 4 copies of the same album. Because I do. But, for those of you who aren't familiar, Agonal Breathing is a 2-man slam band consisting of the vocalist, Brandon Smith from here in the US, and Luis Flores, the instrumentalist from Venezuela. And aside from just being stupidly brutal in general, they specialize in super low and slow slams. Something I like to call slow cooker slam. Because I think that if it were meat, it would just be falling off the bone. I think it's important to mention that Brandon runs his own music label called Midwest Brutality, where he releases most of Agonal Breathing's sick-ass merch shit, and as well as a lot of cool albums from some other brutal bands. So, I'll leave a link to that down below. Anyway, Pure Agony is Agonal Breathing's first full-length album, and it came out in 2017, digitally on Midwest Brutality and physically on Lord of the Sick Recordings. I think the first thing you're bound to notice is the classic mutilated mid-decomposition corpse there on the cover. Very nice. Which was designed by the artist Requiem Azaza. I hope I'm saying that right. Also, it has tits, but they're dead, so forget it. Yeah, that's a little off topic. But anyway, the album also has an alternate cover art. Being a collector, those sort of things tend to make my blood pressure go up a little bit. Do you see it? Do you see the eye twitching? Here, take a look. As you can see, it's basically the same scene as depicted in the original cover. Just a little closer to maybe a photograph from a snuff film. Here you probably spotted the resemblance to other classic slam albums like Devourment's Molesting the Decapitated, or Cephalotripsy's album title with the big long words in it that I'm not going to try and say right now because I'm really high. Moving on to the music. Firstly, Pure Agony is grisly, big balls, down and dirty, fat-ass slam. I realize that's a lot of adjectives that I just used there, but that's also a lot of slam. The thick guitar and bass tones have more beef between them than a fucking cattle ranch. And the snare pings so goddamn hard that it's like a dinner bell ringing to tell you that meat's on the table. The gutturals on this album can loosely be equated to a garbage disposal gurgling down a thick and chunky milkshake while a microphone sits in the sink. And I absolutely mean that in the best way possible. So let's say Luis is a big plate of mashed potatoes and Brandon is the hot gravy dribbling down the side, then that makes me the fat little fuck who's coming back for seconds. So far in this review, I've used a lot of food-type metaphors, and it's kind of making me hungry. And I don't really think this is going to help. Why the fuck did I just block the wind if I'm inside? So the album starts out with a quick intro track that's pretty much just one slam riff repeated at varying speeds in descending order, which is perfect because it's very indicative of the mood of the album as a whole, I feel. You like that slam? Well, I hope you like it slower. Which is to say that they don't really cover a whole lot of ground riff-wise, but they use changes in tempo and just the drum pattern to keep the same riff sounding interesting and heavy forever. This is the slam that never ends. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on until it's pulverized your brains into a soup inside your skull. Now, Pure Agony still has plenty of its... Pure Agony still has plenty of quick-paced, groove-driven slams, but for the most part they serve to be build-ups for the real knuckle-draggers. Like this one. In short, I think that Agonal Breathing's Pure Agony is a big fucking hammer. And we're all just little nails. Okay, so that was the end of the review portion of this video, but I also have a couple of other things that I would like to mention before I'm done. Well, they're actually like two things just rolled into one, but anyway. Agonal Breathing recently just signed to the Indonesian brutal death metal label Brutal Mind. And they've just released mountains of brutal death metal albums from bands like Vomit Remnants, Guttural Slug, Gorepot. Anyway, with that label, the band has just released a short little 3-track promo featuring songs from their brand new second full-length album that's supposed to come out sometime next year. If you purchase the promo for a measly $5, then 25% of your hard-earned money becomes a donation to the Jane Goodall Institute. For those of you that are unfamiliar with it like I was before I Googled it prior to making this video, it is a global community conservation organization established by Dr. Goodall in 1977 that is dedicated to the protection of chimpanzees and the public's awareness and education about them. So whether you're into helping the chimps or you just want to get your hands on some dank new slams, I will put a link down to where you can purchase that promo below in the video's description. Now this brings me to the final part of this video where I'd like to just shine a little light on some other related-ish albums that I think you should hear. The first is Gnashed Between Unholy Jaws by Incestuous Impregnation. Those of you who saw my review on the album a while ago already know what's up. For those of you that didn't, the basic too long didn't read is that the band is an online slam supergroup, including the vocalist from Agonal Breathing, and the album is packed full of Jurassic Dino slams. I mean, come on, do I really gotta say more? Here's a clip, though. The second album is titled Flayed and Displayed by the two-man slam band called Human Menu. This big ugly monster is currently available at the Midwest Brutality Big Cartel store, so I'm going to leave a link to that down below. Also, another to where you can listen to the album. There's just going to be a whole bunch of links. They'll be labeled down below. To where you can go and spend your money. So, yeah. And that's it. That's my review. That's everything. So you can go back to whatever you were doing before. Thanks for watching.